Whether I'm writing a magazine article, a blog post, or a book, whether I'm live streaming, recording a video, or producing a podcast, I am basically a storyteller. And as a storyteller, I can tell you that there are certain things that are almost as important as the story itself. Sharing the story in the right place, at the right time, in the right language, and with the right people. And with that in mind, I'd like to spend the next few minutes analysing the story that the demolition and construction industry is telling potential workers. The UK's demolition and construction industry is facing a growing skills gap, a great glaring black hole in the workforce that threatens to suck in and destroy the sector. Many of our current workers are at or nearing retirement age, and there aren't enough young people stepping in to fill their shoes. Ask around the industry, and you'll often hear the same explanation. Young people just aren't cut out for this work. They're too lazy, too soft, too entitled, too woke. It's a convenient explanation, isn't it? If they're the problem, we're off the hook. But this kind of finger-pointing overlooks an uncomfortable possibility. Maybe it's not that young people are uninterested or unqualified, but the industry itself isn't telling the right story, or its story isn't reaching the right people at the right time. Is it possible that our communication, not their commitment, is what's lacking? Could it be that our message is focused on preserving traditions and stereotypes instead of looking forward? And when we say young people don't fit into demolition or construction, are we actually saying they just don't fit into our outdated idea of what it means to work here? We say that demolition and construction are tough industries, fields that require grit, hard work, and resilience. But many young people are equally tough, only in different ways. While previous generations, myself included, accepted conventional wisdom to maintain the status quo, younger people are pushing for change, challenging established norms, fighting for environmental justice, for diversity, and for mental health awareness. They're asking tough questions and demanding real answers. We dismiss them as too woke, when maybe we ought to look closer at the values driving their questions. Maybe they don't lack resilience. Maybe they're using it in ways we haven't even bothered to understand. Young people today often prioritize stability, purpose, and inclusivity in their careers. They look for jobs that provide more than just a paycheck. They want a sense of mission, a feeling that their work contributes to something larger than themselves. So how does the demolition and construction industry communicate its mission to them? More importantly, do we even know what that mission is? To a young person looking in from the outside, construction and demolition may appear to be an industry focused solely on hard labour, with little room for intellectual or creative engagement. That's not the whole picture, of course. Our work has a vital role in society. We build communities, shape skylines, and ensure safety and sustainability. But when was the last time we made that part of the story clear to prospective workers? Too often we fail to communicate the ways in which demolition and construction tackle some of the greatest challenges of our time. Take sustainability, for example. With global warming threatening our future, many young people are driven by a desire to make an impact on climate change. The construction sector has a tremendous role to play in sustainability, but have we honestly made that clear? Retrofitting old buildings, reducing waste, using sustainable materials, these are all ways that construction can and must evolve. Imagine how differently a young person might see a career in construction if they understood that their work could contribute to a greener, more sustainable world. And what about technology? Construction is no longer just about bricks and mortar. It's drones, 3D printed, augmented reality, and advanced machinery that requires as much brain as brawn. Today's projects are as much about innovation as they are about tradition. But when we talk about the industry to young people, we rarely highlight the cutting-edge technology transforming how we work. Do we paint the full picture of what it's like to build a bridge, to deconstruct a complex site, or create a new piece of infrastructure? Or are we still selling the image of a man in a hard hat, dirt on his face, gritting his teeth through another grueling day? Another dimension we need to acknowledge is work-life balance. Young workers today aren't just looking for money and status. They're looking for jobs that respect them as people, that recognise their lives at work. We're quick to brand that expectation as entitlement, but maybe that's unfair. After all, who doesn't want to work for a company that respects their time and values and their mental health? It's on us to find ways to offer a working environment that acknowledges their expectations without undermining the strength of our work ethic. We can't expect young workers to check their well-being at the door, and nor should we. Ultimately, the question isn't whether young people are ready to work in demolition and construction. It's whether we're ready to meet them where they are. Are we prepared to invest in outreach that speaks to their interests and their aspirations? Do we take the time to highlight stories of workers who started with no experience and built successful careers? Have we created mentorship programs to connect seasoned professionals with young recruits, passing down skills and wisdom while respecting fresh perspectives? We say that young people don't stick around, that they jump from job to job. But ask yourself, why would they stay in an industry that sees them as a problem rather than a potential? How can we expect them to commit to us if we've made no real effort to connect with them, to inspire them, to make them feel like they belong? If we continue to cling to outdated narratives about young people being too soft or too woke, we will lose the opportunity to bring in a new generation that could redefine and revitalize this industry. If we keep telling ourselves that they're the problem, we'll end up on the wrong side of history, and eventually we'll end up without a workforce. We need to rethink our approach. Stop putting up walls between ourselves and the nation and start building bridges. Let's tell our story, not as an industry stuck in the past, but as one that's evolving, that's ready to embrace change, that values innovation and hard work. Let's show them that demolition and construction isn't about tearing things down. It's about building a better world, a world where they can have a stake and a voice. When we've done that, when we've told our story in a way that speaks to their values, their ambitions, and their challenges, maybe we'll find that young people weren't the problem after all. Maybe, just maybe, they were the solution we've been waiting for all along.